Welcome to a new episode of Delphines Circle, where we uncover the mind, body, and spirit of success. Subscribe now for free to receive updates on the latest interviews. Then, sit back, relax, and tune in. Hello, ladies, and welcome to the Roundtable Wellness episode today. This is going to be such an awesome show. I'm so excited to have you guys here because you guys are all wellness rock stars. We all know about that. And we've got some really fun topics that we're going to talk about. But first, I want to go around the room and have each of you guys introduce yourself. And we'll start with you, Kathryn. You and I are new friends. I got referred to you from a former Round Circle guest, Salme,
yes.
And she told me about how awesome her experience was with you. And I went in and had some great therapies with you. So introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Kathryn. I'm fourth generation Orange County, and I've been in Laguna Niguel for about 30 years. And I have been in the wellness industry for 15 years. And my company is Harmony Healing Therapies. And I sublease an office in Killer Beauty in Dana Point. I have 4 children and 2 grandbabies now. So I'm excited about that. And
I think you're recently engaged as well.
yes.
Yay!
Yes, December.
Congratulations.
To a wonderful man named Steven.
Yay.
So, yeah.
Good stuff. Awesome. Well, so happy to have you.
Thank you.
Rhonda Lewis, tell us about you. Well, let me first tell you about you. We've known each other for, I was actually looking at, it's like 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We met in Aspen through our mutual BFF, Veronica Sumner.
Yep.
And luckily for me, you moved to Orange County, so we get to hang out a lot more now. But tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, I'm originally from Georgia, and I've lived between South Florida and Aspen for probably 30 years now. And I moved to Newport to be closer to my sister, my best friend. We're 13 months apart. We're very close. And
I thought it was to be closer to me, but whatever.
that too. And I have my own business inside of another business, which is an anti-aging clinic that basically has everything. I do M-Sculpt, old therapy, Beamer therapy, Cellutone, mostly body sculpting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I have 2 children, 2 wonderful children, Eric and Austin, and that's about it.
Yay! Well, I'm so excited to have you here. I also am going to add, because you've always been my go-to person for anything nutrition related, because you may not have that as your certification, but you know more about nutritional health than anybody I know.
I put in the hours.
Yeah. And probably because of what you've gone through in your own time. But, wherever the education comes from, you take it. Trish.
Hi, Delphines.
Hi. So we've known each other. I actually don't even remember how many years it's been, but probably about 3 or 4. But we really bonded when we both got into the Healy.
Yes.
And you've become an incredible spokesperson and advocate of the Healy, and I learn daily from you about it. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm Trish Mangold, a holistic health practitioner. I'm a dual citizen of Australia and the US, a native of California, grew up in Laguna, and spent my formative childhood years in Australia. So sometimes my accent comes out, sometimes it doesn't.
When you're around your mom, it does.
Yeah. And I grew up in Laguna near a Hare Krishna temple. I was fascinated with the ancient culture of India, and kind of growing up in a household where there was always natural remedies floating around the house and stuff for the sore throat and ear infections and something brewing. And I think that sort of exposure from a young age, I've become fascinated with Ayurvedic medicine and the idea of preventative healthcare. So that's my passion.
Yay,
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Well, and you've got, now we're not only going to talk about Healy, but you've got some product lines too. So we got, I'm just giving you guys a foreshadowing of great things to come. We got some fun stuff. So I want to start out with, because I know that, going into the new year, everybody is looking into how can they up their health game, right? And a lot of it is about diet. Some people want to lose weight. Some people just want to eat healthier. But, I feel like this is an area that people still struggle with. It's kind of a basic thing, and yet people still struggle with it. So I want to go around. I want to ask you guys, what do you think is the biggest obstacle that people have to overcome in order to be healthy? Let's start with you, Kathryn.
The biggest obstacle. I think people look at the whole picture and they get overwhelmed because you got to revamp your cosmetics, what you use in your shower, on your body. And then let's talk about the pantry, which should not exist. So that's hard. Yeah. It's overwhelming. So I would say baby steps, pick an area. So if you decide, you know what, it's weight for me, or if it's, deflaming the body, or if it's, I want to heal my stomach, then focus on one area and go with that.
I love that. That's great advice.
Because it is very overwhelming. And so like if you're having chronic pain and it's moving throughout the body, well, maybe go on turmeric and back off the sugar. Start there.
So start with one thing. Pick one thing and start.
Up your water. Yeah. Get hydrated.
Yeah. Rhonda, what do you think? What are some of the biggest things people have to overcome?
I would have to say that for everyone, it's different because there are so many people who are great with working out. They can work out all day long, but they can't do the diet thing. And then me, I can diet all day long. I can do anything, eat healthy. I don't want to work out. It's like, and there are also people who they can do both of those things very well, but they don't take the right supplements. And so it really depends on the person. There's always that person that struggles with that one thing. Like I can do this, but I can't do the diet. Yeah. Most people cannot do the diet. That's the hardest for most people. Most people enjoy exercising, but I would say that it's just getting all those things down all together, and that's where most people struggle. It's that one area that's the toughest for them.
It's like your low, what do you call it? Your weak link.
Yeah, especially supplements. Supplements, people get very, very overwhelmed by supplements, and they're like, I just don't take any. And there are so many that we really need and the body can't produce. And so I think it's whatever that person
is a really big part of it.
That's a huge thing. People they'll ask me, people all the time, oh, what should I do and what should I take? And I write everything down and whatever. And they're like, and they don't stay on it.
Yeah.
My sister, she's one of those. Yeah. It's just like, I just can't keep her focused to stay on. She'll do it for a little bit, but then I forget or whatever. And just like, so I think it's everything together, and it would be great, but it is hard for everybody to do that. And
it takes willpower, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
What have you seen, Trish?
I think for me, it's mindset because, there is a lot of information out there. Or if you've fallen through the cracks of like mainstream healthcare, you feel like you're just your symptoms are your identity. You've told the story 100 times and you're repeating this affirmation almost, it becomes part of your identity. And you've seen specialist after specialist and you're not finding the solution. So you think, well, this is just, I have to live with this. And that becomes part of your identity. And then, but, the mindset of knowing that there is a solution out there, I think that's important.
I love that one. I always say to try to get out of your vocabulary, I am, because what that kind of connotates is that you can't be something else, and, oh, I'm lazy. Oh, I'm a procrastinator. Oh, I am, just take those words out of your vocabulary because we're all capable of whatever we put our mind to, right? So I think you're so right. Mindset is everything. Absolutely. I saw an interview, actually it was kind of years ago of Dr. Andrew Weil, the integrative health practitioner and the creator of True Food Kitchen.
He was one of my first wellness books I ever read. I love him.
Really? Yeah. Well, he's a genius, right? He's really a guru. But in the interview, they asked him what would be the one food that you would recommend that everybody take out of their diet and never eat again? And he said it was soda. And he said specifically diet soda. He said it's the worst thing that you can put in your body. And I remember, I think this was, years ago when my kids were young, and I just became like a Nazi about you're not drinking soda. And my son the other day said, Mom, I'm so glad that you didn't raise us with soda because I don't even think about it now. I don't think to order it and everything. But, if you guys had to pick like one thing to take out of your diet, what would you think that is, Trish?
For me, it's definitely drinking out of plastic water bottles. I mean, 93% of the water tested on the shelves available at the store right now have toxic levels of plastic in them. And we know that they're linked to breast cancer and liver cancer and hormone disruptors. And it's something you think you're doing the right thing for your body, drinking 8 bottles of water a day, and you're actually slowly poisoning yourself.
And the water's no good in there anyway.
Right.
And
There's
no
killing the
regulation.
environment anyway.
Yeah.
No, that's so true. That's a good one. What about you, Kathryn?
Soy products. I remember a time when I remember believing back in like 2006, like soy is good for you. So I changed over from dairy to soy and I got super sick. I went from headaches to migraines. So what I found out is soy is full of pesticides. I mean, yeah. So honestly, I would say cut out all the soy, which is hard for vegans because what are they going to eat? But at least do organic because, it's just they're toxic.
Now, what about edamame? Because, God made edamame.
So
Isn't that okay?
It is soy.
Yeah.
I do
But it
feel
has
good
to be
on
organic.
edamame personally because it's not processed. I would still say if you could have it organic, that would be ideal. But it is in its whole form. And again, you want to go organic.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not a bad way.
What's your pet peeve, Rhonda? What would have to go?
Well, I'm not going to say it's a pet peeve. It's something that I actually really, really love, but it's something that I stopped eating is eggs, which I know that's going to be like
eggs are supposed to be
crazy
good for us.
people to hear,
Yeah.
but
Complete protein.
yeah, I know. I used to think it was perfect food, but
What about pasture raised?
yeah, I know. But they feed viruses and bacteria and the whole history behind it. I won't go into that, whatever. But I think that that's a lot of people's problems because so many of us eat eggs, and so many.
Well, and
when
eggs
I was
are in everything.
I know they're in everything, and it doesn't make for a nice brunch, breakfast, anything. Everything has an egg in it. But I think that was one of my biggest problems, and I think it's something that people don't realize. But it's the number one food that viruses feed off of. So I would have to say
But what
that's
about, can we
something that
just
people don't
reduce-
even realize that they're even having.
Instead of having eggs every day, maybe have them twice a month or
you
something
can
like
reduce,
that.
absolutely. But especially like with what's going on and with COVID and everything, if you can take down the viral load, especially if you're sick or you don't want to get sick, just during flu season, maybe just don't have them right now. Anything you can do to take down something that's going to feed the virus,
Right.
and then antivirals is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I think it
makes
affects
sense.
a lot of people that don't realize that that's even a problem. And also, it's one of the, there's like 6 or 7 foods that are the most allergic, and eggs are one of them.
Yeah.
So even just that alone.
So true.
Yeah.
Ever since you told me that, I've been really trying to be a lot better. I don't think I was ever a huge egg eater, but I've been more mindful about it now. It's like, do I have
I
to
eat
have
organic,
that?
free
Yeah.
range, and all of that, whatever. But it's just that for some reason there's a protein in eggs that's what viruses love,
Yeah.
bacteria.
Yeah.
So.
Oh gosh, darn it! So it's one thing, it's not another. So the one thing I have been super pumped about lately, and I really want to get your expert opinion on it because I haven't really done the research. And in fact, Kathryn, you asked me, "Is it organic?" I'm like, I don't know. It seems like I probably should have checked that, but at least 4 or 5 of my friends started on the Prolon diet and were raving about it and had an excellent results. So I tried it. I loved it. It was very easy to do. It's basically a 5-day program. They send you a box that has 5 little boxes in it, and each box is what you can consume in that day. So they make it like foolproof to follow. It's pretty easy. And it's not like a specific time. So as long as you eat everything in this box in one day, you're fine.
Mhm.
It's $175 for the full box. So it breaks down to like $35 a day. So it's very, value friendly. And I got to tell you, I lost a pound every day that I was on it. And really my goal was more of like a cleanse. It was like kind of coming off of the holidays and just feeling like I needed a reset. But, I'll take the 5 pounds weight loss. And, when going into it, Rhonda's like, okay, but just remember, most people, when they fast, they don't keep the weight off. So don't think that, but I've got to tell you, this is the second time I've done it now. And the first time I kept the weight off for at least a month until I got into the holidays. And now I've reset, and I did it 2 weeks ago and I'm still down at that weight. So I don't know. I think it's kind of cool, but it says mimicking fasting. And I know you are a fast expert. I was like, you're fasting again? She does the hard stuff like the water fast.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that mean to you when it says mimic fasting?
Well, for me, I love Prolon because the way I always fasted was a water fast. I mean, nothing but water. And I mean, even up to like 7-8 days. But Prolon is mimicking a fast, all the food, everything, and they've created it, and it's down to a science, that's why it's so hard for us to do this on our own. I mean, they have studied this.
It was developed by USC. It was the USC research department.
And they won a Nobel Prize or something for it. But
Okay.
yeah, it was crazy, but it goes under the radar. So your body does not know or realize that you're getting any of these nutrients or anything, and we wouldn't be able to do that ourselves. But to me, it's so easy because I'm getting something to eat, and the food's not that bad. So it's
you reach the autophagy.
I loved it for that. But you're still getting all the benefits of a fast, without having to do that. So
is that something you could see yourself recommending?
Well, personally, my passion is also addressing gut health with a fast. So I recommend I do a spin on an ancient dish, a staple dish from Ayurvedic medicine. So it's whole foods, and it's a warm meal, and you have it 3 times a day. And the idea of fasting is kind of to reset the metabolic system. So this is a nourishing cleanse. Yeah, you're eating.
But is it all plant-based?
It is. It's 100% plant-based. So, and it's a complete protein, and it supports a healthy gut microbiome, supports the liver.
So is this something people make it themselves in their house?
Yes,
Oh,
and it's very inexpensive, actually. For $35, you would have 9 meals.
Oh, wow.
Over 3 days. And so it's like a mono diet, gives your digestive system the break that it needs, and it also feeds your mind and body. It nourishes you as you detox. It's a nourishing detox. So your sugar levels are kept stable, and you're not, depleting.
Now, how often can you do this? Because after doing it, of course, I'm not drinking, I'm not having coffee. Although they do say if you're absolutely a caffeine freak, you can have 1 cup of black coffee a day. But I'm cool without it. But I feel so good after I started thinking, maybe I should do this like once a month, like 5 days out of every month. How often can you do it?
So traditionally in Ayurveda, they do it during the change of the seasons. So it helps your body shift with the energy changes of the seasons.
Oh, okay.
But I recommend it if you just overcome a sickness, or if you feel like you're coming down with something, it supports the immune system. So, I mean, if you've had a baby, any sort of trauma in your life or surgery, they really recommend it.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, to replenish your mind and body.
What do you think about that, Kathryn?
I'm not very familiar with that product, but I love fasting. Anytime I'm feeling off, or, I have clients that say, I'm just not balanced, something's wrong. It's ideally, just stop eating for a couple days. Sea salt is a great one. I love the Celtic sea salt, but it replenishes the body with the enzymes that you need and the minerals. But it also stabilizes the blood sugar. So as you're not, I personally I don't do any food. I just stabilize the blood sugar with the sea salt and allow the gut to clean itself and the body to heal itself. Obviously no exercise, just low key, read a book, relax, take a day or 2, and the body will reset.
How long do you do that for?
Oh, for like 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah. By that second day, I'm like, everything is looking good. You're like, what are you eating?
That plant's looking awful.
Right?
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, it's funny because it kind of I feel like this Prolon craze is really riding the coattails of intermittent fasting, right? So it seemed like over the past couple of years, everybody you talked to was doing intermittent fasting. And I think I kind of already naturally did an intermittent fasting because I don't eat late because I go to bed early, and then I don't like to eat until after I work out. So by the time I was eating, it was probably 10:30 or 11 anyway. So I feel like my natural rhythm was already intermittent fasting. But how would you describe it? Because people are always asking me, what does that mean?
So the intermittent fasting is, prolonging your first meal of the day and pushing it back. I kind of tend towards the circadian fasting, which is, divide your day into 12 hours. You've got the daylight hours and the nighttime hours. So the circadian fasting is you tend to eat earlier on in the day, but you don't eat after the nightfall.
Okay, so you can eat within a 12-hour time frame.
Right.
Because I think most intermittent fasting is 18 hours, right?
Yeah,
it's
sometimes
like
it's 16.
7
18.
p.m. to 11 a.m. You're not supposed to eat or something like that. Have you guys tried it? Are you guys into intermittent fasting?
Yes, I do it pretty regularly.
Do you?
Yeah. And it is, you just don't eat after 6, and your first meal is like 8 or 9. So it gives the body a nice rest so that it can work on healing.
Yeah.
And ideally, you want to have your meals within 8 hours. They say 10. I kind of keep it in that 8 hours because I really want to shift my body into the burning fat as opposed to burning sugar. So really ramping up the system to go after that fat.
Yeah.
So I like to tighten those areas, but yeah, it's great on a regular basis.
I did it for a long time. Mostly it was because of my stomach issues. I got down to a 6-hour feeding window. And I think it's great if you have digestive issues for people because it gives the digestive system a time just to rest and not have to do any work and anything at all. So I think it really can help people in that situation. But when people just generally hear about intermittent fasting and people just jump on it and think it's really not for everyone. So it's not people with low blood sugar or some people just need to eat every few hours.
Yeah.
I mean, they just do. Everyone is
we
different.
used to hear that. I mean, wasn't there a while that it was like, oh, the big breakthrough is you're supposed to eat small meals every couple hours. And now they're saying...
I'm back on that now.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy, but it's true. It's just like, sometimes it's just your body changes. This is what you need at this time. And then, it's not what you need at others. But I think that for some people, that they just hear about it because their friend tried it, or a lot of people lose a lot of weight on it.
Yeah.
Other people, they go on it, they don't lose weight, they feel horrible. They're like, so it's just not for everyone.
Yeah.
I do think it helps people with digestive issues, but
I feel like men have
some
really
people feel
embraced
great on it, and they love it, and it also just keeps people from just, when you say snacking, nobody's just sitting around eating carrots or celery or whatever. If people are snacking or they're eating every few hours, they're eating something junky most of the time because that's what's available. Yeah. It's hard to go out of your way or to have these snacks prepared and have organic little stuff. So,
Hershey Kiss over here.
So most people who are eating little every few hours, they're eating crap. So I think that it takes a lot of that out. So I think it can help people a lot in that way.
Well, and I feel like for some people that have a hard time of being selective about their food type, like some people are just like, I'm sorry, I'm a meat and potatoes guy. I've got to have my burger. I've got to have my, So if you give them that type of a diet, at least it feels like there's something that they can do. So they're not feeling, because they actually say if you're only bringing your eating down to 8 hours a day, there's actually a lot of, you can expand the types of quality of the types of.
And they're not eating meat and potatoes all day.
Right.
Right. And
well, I think it will.
So yeah.
Everybody has to figure out what works for them, I guess, Yeah. Well, like a true Aquarius, I love innovation. I love technology. Anything that's around innovation and technology, I'm like, whoop, whoop. Another Aquarius in the room. Kathryn, I don't know how new sound healing is, but it's new to me because I just got introduced to it. And I will tell you that I was blown away by the results I got from going to sound therapy. So explain a little bit about how that works.
So the concept is we have constant bombarding of stress and radiation from all the 5G and technology and the lights and all that. We're not in our native environment anymore. And so we get out of balance. And so basically sound therapy, what I do is I tune out of tune bodies. Mm-hmm. So we just get off. So those mornings you wake up and you're like, oh, I don't feel myself. I feel off. Yeah. You are out of tune. Mm-hmm. And then there's days you get up and you're like, I'm going to take on the world. I'm like, I'm dialed in. Mm-hmm. You're on and you're balanced. And so that's really what it comes down to. So sound therapy is just, they use vibration forks, they use sound forks. And it's basically resonating the body to bring it back into a coherence. Our natural vibration is what it is. And we are electrical beings. And just like an EKG, they measure the heart, and EGG, they measure the brain. We are electrical beings. That's the reality. And just like we tune pianos and guitars, we need to be tuned because we get out of tune. And if we're on, the computer a lot and our cell phone, we are being microwaved. Yeah. We are being radiated, and it's depleting. And so when you're struggling with fatigue, the chattering brain, and you're lethargic and you're out of balance.
Well, what I was very impressed with was, again, it's hard to know when you're laying there, all that's going on, but you had a way of tapping into finding out exactly areas that I was holding tension or trauma or stress. I was blown away. You said, what happened to you at age 3? And I think it might be around, was there an abandonment issue? I mean, that was the year I went into the foster home and left, from my mom. How you knew that from clinging a sound tuning fork, I have no idea. But it was really, I felt so much lighter getting off of your table. So I don't know how it works, but it works. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And the forks, when I strike the sound on the sound forks, they resonate at a frequency. And when I hit turbulence out, and so it works off the aura, which is the biofield of the body. We have energy that comes out off our body about 5 to 6 feet. When I hit something with the sound, I can tell it's distorted. And I'm like, what's going on here? And sometimes intuitively, I can tell whether it's sadness or it's anger or based on the sound. Not always, but you do get an intuitive kind of hit. And so I just go with it. I'm like, okay, yeah. And abandonment came up. And so we were able to clear that so that when you got off the table, you felt lighter and more centered. So the body holds on to memories, and we're light beings. And so fragments, when we get hurt or there's traumas, the light in us breaks off out in our field. And so it can weigh us down. So we feel heavy and burdened. But basically the concept is I bring that light back in and I drop it back into the chakra points. And people just are like, oh my God, I feel so much better and centered.
Well, and I was reading on your website, your client reviews, and I thought I went through transformation. You have clients that are really raving about how it literally changed their lives. So what you're doing is really important work.
Yeah.
I could feel the energy. Aww. I could feel it. Just like it's like tingling or something. In a,
you had it done too, right?
Yeah, I treated Rhonda.
Yeah, it was
fascinating.
Yeah.
You got to go next.
I'm next.
You got to come visit me.
Absolutely.
Well, Rhonda, you launched a bunch of new modalities this year, specifically one that is just so amazing to me because it burns fat and builds muscle while you lay on your back. And of course, I had to rush in and do that immediately. But tell us a little bit about what you got started.
Perfect for someone who hates exercise. Well, the radio frequency is what burns the fat. it actually kills fat cells. It's like most people are familiar with Cool Sculpting, which burns fat at 22%, and M-Sculpt burns fat at 30%, but it's not painful. But the best part about it is that you're also at the same time is that you're building muscle because there's 2 modalities in one machine. So they came out, the M-Sculpt Classic was the first one they came out with, and it just had the high fem contractions, and you were just basically, you're building muscle and you're still losing fat through the more muscle you build, the more fat you lose. But when they added the radio frequency to it, now it's heating, and at 42 degrees, it's killing fat cells. And so you're actually killing fat and building muscle at the same time.
And you're just laying there.
It's not painful at all.
So how long is this wait list to get in to see you?
It's not painful at all. It's like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And you can treat so many areas of the body. Well, basically,
can you
any
target
muscle.
specific?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's good for abs, glutes. You can do your calves, your quads, your hamstrings, biceps, triceps, and yes, now love handles and inner and outer thighs. So Yeah.
Something for everyone.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Trish, you've gotten to be so knowledgeable and quite the proponent of microcurrent technology through our friend the Healy.
Yes, and
which
thank you
have
for
on right now.
introducing this to my life. You brought it into my office.
Yeah, well, I love it, and you've become my guru, so now I go to you
Oh.
for all the answers. But tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I'm loving this talk about frequency and vibration and what we're made of, because we were energy before we were physical matter. Our environment, we are out of our natural environment, and we're constantly being bombarded from negative inputs that is lowering our vibration. So every cell in our body, every organ in our body vibrates at a resonant frequency, optimal frequency. And I love the work you're doing. I can't wait to come and see you.
Yes.
And I love the Healy because there's nothing like it out there. It has a quantum sensor inside, which tunes into your bioinformation field and detects where your imbalances are, and then delivers you the frequencies that your body needs. So I love that it's versatile. You can do it with or without microcurrent frequencies. Right now you can do it with the coil, which is an attachment you put on. So it uses some Tesla technology. And you can also just vibrate it into your information field. So it's fun. I do it when I work out, when I'm cooking, when I'm relaxing.
So basically, it runs off of your smartphone. It's an app that you download. If you get the resonance version, which is more of the clinician's version, it will actually run an analysis of your body and tell you where your deficiencies are.
Yes.
The lower version still does the same great work, but it doesn't have the analysis process of it. So you kind of have to guess.
But we want to know.
But we want to know.
I love knowing. I'm like, it just tells you.
Well, and because we're so used to treating symptoms, right? And by the time something reaches a symptom level, it's already gone too far. And the neat thing about the analysis is that it can actually tell you about something that's happening in your body before you've seen a symptom and kind of, nip it in the bud.
Yes.
So I've been just blown away by the type of things that I've been able to control and to heal with the Healy. And I mean, everything from muscle tension, pain, chronic pain, any little thing that comes up, just run my little analysis. It'll tell me what I need and I deliver it. And it is amazing. And sometimes things will come up and I'm like, really?
I know you
why
think
do I
it's
need
one thing
that?
and then it's another.
But don't try to outsmart the Healy.
Yeah.
It'll let you know what's going on. I overcame a bacterial infection with it. I used to have chronic sciatica. And that's definitely there's a sciatica program.
I used to have chronic, and it's never bothered me again.
Right.
And it's not just like a Band-Aid. It literally cured it for me.
Yeah. So if I do get a flare-up from sitting too long or on a long flight, I'll put it on, and before the 20-minute program is over, my sciatica is gone. Yeah. I love it. And I overcame my PMS issues as well. So we won't go into the details, but
don't get mad. No, it's an awesome thing. And I highly recommend if anybody's interested in learning more to call Trish, because she really is the go-to guru on it. When the Healy launched, I actually got mine before it was available in the US. I got it through Hong Kong, through my girlfriend, Pamela. And it was launched in the US in May of 2020.
Yes.
And it was perfectly timed because of what was going on with the pandemic. And it's interesting how building up immunity has now been in the focus more than it ever has, right? We've always needed this, but now all of a sudden people are aware that they need it and they're focusing on it. And hopefully we're going to focus on it even more, right? Because even in the news, I wish they were talking more about preventive instead of how to address it after the fact. But Rhonda, I know this is something that you're passionate about. So what do you do to build up your immunity? I know you're a Healy user as well, but other than that, what do you do to help keep yourself in optimal immunity shape?
Well, I would have to say supplements, first of all. I'm a supplement junkie. So supplements, herbs, a lot of herbs, a lot of tinctures. And especially like during COVID, a lot of times people forget about the foods that are antiviral and the herbs that are antiviral and how you can just bring those down. And if you're eating those all the time or you're taking those supplements all the time, you don't have to worry about, first of all, getting it. If you do, you're not going to get it that bad. So you're already helping yourself and you're ready for it before it even comes to you. But keeping your immune system up, Another thing is I try so hard with sleep. You know, I had a problem with sleep before, and that was one of the things that I actually forgot to say about intermittent fasting. That was a problem with me, is when your sugar is down. I had insomnia for a really long time, and I think that was part of my problem on the fasting, because when your brain doesn't have glucose, you can't sleep. And I didn't understand this at the time. And now, I mean, I'll even eat like a couple dates an hour before I'm going to go to bed. And it's amazing. It really helps.
Wow.
And so the whole time.
Okay, get rid of the Xanax and the Ambien. Bring in the dates.
Well, I have some other supplements for sleep too, but I'm just saying it's supplements, I think, are and your diet and what you're eating, because there's so much we can do just with food, but so many people don't understand that or get it or don't even, you know, it's a lot of work.
It is.
I mean, it is. It's a lot of work. Yeah. So I think that with it to help with your immune system more than anything.
Absolutely.
And obviously the D3, the zinc, and the vitamin C, those we should just be taking any day, every day, all the time.
Now, can you take them in a multivitamin? Because, you know, there's a lot of multivitamins that have all of those.
The problem is when you take a lot of things together, is it's not the right amount you need. It's not the quality that you need. There is no one just supplement that just has everything in there. Believe me, it would be wonderful if there was. You know, I've swallowed so many pills in a day, it's crazy. But it's just not. You can't get the quantity or the quality if it's,
in a multivitamin.
No.
Now, Kathryn, I know in addition to the work that you do with sound therapy, you're also a Reiki master. Yeah. And I mean, how big of a role does our energy centers play in natural immunity?
Well, a lot. Our belief systems. So if you're on the news a lot, then you're paranoid and your vibration it goes really low. And when you're in in the moment of being grateful and all that we have blessed, you know, where we live, you know, we have sun most of the year in California. Like when you're in that energy, then you raise the vibration. And I've actually tested that where I could feel the vibration and the energy. And when I thought of something sad, I could feel how energetically it's depleted. And then I thought of something happy, like a moment like at the beach where you got the sun on you, everything's great. And I could feel that energy rise. So you actually have it in you to create a positive environment or a negative based on our thought process. And so Reiki kind of works on that energy level as well. I mean, I personally work with Holy Fire Reiki. There's a bunch of different types. But the founder believed that we had the healing power like Jesus. And by just laying hands or off the body, but basically sending love and light, just sending love and light into those areas of pain on that individual would alleviate the inflammation. And they are now allowing Reiki in hospitals. So that's kind of cool.
Oh my gosh, it's about time.
And honestly, I personally think really it is touch.
Yeah.
Like we are craving and missing touch. They're isolating and moving people away, 6 feet away, don't see anybody. But we are missing touch. And most Reiki practitioners touch the individual. And I really think that's where the healing is. We are herds. We're very people oriented. We're community oriented. We want to be touched.
And that's the reality. Really crazy is there going to be people watching this. They're going to be like, oh my God, here we go. Woo, woo, woo. How come we've gotten to 2022 with us still having a debate about whether energetic medicine helps or whether, energetic healing is even relevant in our...
But scientifically, you can prove it. You can prove the healing frequencies. It's like it's not...
Well, Healy is made by the top quantum physicists in the world out of Germany. So it is based in science, and yet it's taken us a long time, especially in America, to really start embracing the power of energetic medicine and the power of energetic healing.
Right.
I know I'm preaching to the choir with this one.
Well, I love the work of like Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton. I mean, they are using science in a way for the people that are skeptics out there to prove that the power of meditation. And in fact, that brings me to another point, is that the Healy was brought to some monks in Thailand, and they've embraced the Healy, and they said that, group meditation and what the Healy is doing internally with your body it's bringing to the planet what we need, like peace, and what group meditation does for us as humans.
Yeah.
Which
we
is
got the
so
monks,
cool.
man.
I know.
Monks are on our side.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But okay, ladies, this is the time in the program that we get to talk about our favorites, which I get to hear all the time is everybody's favorite is when we talk about favorites. So let's start out with, and I'm going to start with you, Rhonda. Tell me your favorite wellness-related book that you've read.
Okay, so that's really easy for me. That would be
That's why I'm throwing it to you first.
that would be Medical Medium.
Yeah.
I had struggled with so many issues for like probably 4 years, stomach issues, everything I tried. And I was over at your house one day and you said, have you ever heard of the Medical Medium? And I'm like, no, what is that? Or whatever. And you had never read the book, but you were like, I don't know. Well, you should
I had just bought it and I had I had read the first couple chapters, but I'm like, this sounds like you, Rhonda.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't put it down. And everything made so much sense to me. And everything that I had tried, I was actually doing everything, polar opposite of what he recommends. And anyway, I'm a believer, and I don't know that.
And he was the creator of the celery detox that blew up and got really big too.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah. And
Anthony Williams or William?
Anthony Williams, yeah, the Medical Medium. And I just feel like there's no way that he could be doing this for 35 plus years and he is the number one. He actually has 5 books. And I would say my favorite book would be the Cleanse to Heal book. I love that one, but he has a whole book on the thyroid, a whole book on the liver.
Isn't he doing one or has it come out already on cancer?
I think that's his book that he's doing now. Yeah. And then he has a great book on, it's just on the 100 most healthy fruits and vegetables and everything that they do, each, particular one. And
we should
that
say
really changed
he has
everything.
A special benefit. I mean,
yeah, he does. And a lot of people, I know that's like so out there. A lot of times I don't even like to say because it's like, you either believe it or you don't. But the thing is, I just don't understand how he would have that many people. I mean, he's the number one health book in the entire world. He's millions of people follow him.
Doctors
in every
go to him,
single country. Doctors go to him for advice. And to my knowledge, nothing he has ever said has ever been debunked at all. And other things that they have tried to look into, now it's kind of turning mainstream and people are actually doing that. So,
but here's another point that we have to be open-minded.
They are healing. Hundreds of thousands of people are healing, and nothing ever of any of these doctors that I was following, and you can put them all together and they're not healing. So kind of makes you a believer, and it helped me. And so, but it really, really changed a lot of things. And it's,
So Medical Medium and Cleanse to Heal. Yeah. Those are the top ones.
Right.
Do you have a favorite?
I do. And it's a tie between Bruce Lipton, The Biology of Belief. So his notion is that you can change your internal biology with your thoughts, whether they're positive or negative. So for your benefit so you got to be aware of what you're thinking. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural, really put me over that edge of getting into meditation. In fact, every chapter is devoted to a specific type of meditation. So there's a chapter in there for everybody, I think. And the blessing of the energy centers was what really resonated with me. So that's the idea that you go through your body, you bring up the color associated with each chakra, and you just breathe with that energy and spend some time realigning your chakra energy. So I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting. I can visualize colors. I can close my eyes and do this for a minute, and I've got something to focus on. An interesting little study I did with myself. I ran the Healy, the aura scan, before I started the blessing of the energy centers. And so I just looked at the analysis of my chakra energies. It gives you a bar graph. You're looking at the percentages. And then I did the meditation. I spent maybe 10 minutes quietly with myself and walking myself through this meditation. And then I did the analysis again, following the meditation, and I couldn't believe it. My chakras totally shot right up. Whoa. And I was like, woohoo, I'm doing it right. Little self-validation there. Yeah. So it was cool. It was a fun little experiment.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite book?
So I brought it.
Ooh.
So Own Yourself. She is an MD, Kelly Brogan. Mm-hmm. And I like her because she gets down to the truth. She wrote prescriptions, she was Western medicine, and she really drops a lot of truth bombs. Yeah, so she gets into antidepressants, she gets into whole foods, and just really breaks it down for you. She deals with anxiety, she deals with spirituality. What's worked for her, but she had Hashimoto's and she totally turned that autoimmune disease around, and she doesn't have autoimmune anymore.
Wow.
So there's a lot of good truth bombs in there, and she went from a Western practice to writing prescriptions to now she's a naturopathic and has totally turned her back on that field. And yeah, it's very enlightening.
Well, that brings me to our next conversation, you guys. Rhonda talks about the supplements that you're taking. You talk about, it's really, we've gotten to a time where we can't avoid it. You've got to help supplement either what we're losing or how to, deactivate some of the stuff that we're getting. I, about 3 years ago, got introduced to hemp extract, and I became a huge proponent. In fact, at some point, I actually had a product line of hemp extract. And when I say hemp extract, people don't really know that it's CBD, right? CBD is one cannabinoid out of the hemp plant. But there's actually over 200, and it seems like every other month they're finding another one. So it keeps growing and growing. And cannabinoids are the different breakdown of the hemp plant. And the cannabinoids each connect to a different receptor in our body. And we call it the endocannabinoid system in our body. And they actually named it after the hemp system because they were surprised at how closely aligned the hemp plant is with our internal system. And definitely for regular daily use. But I'll tell you guys, I use this for everything because it's anti-inflammatory and it's antibacterial. So I travel with it. If I get a cut, I put the CBD on it. If I need a little extra hydration on my face because it's so depleting and drying in the airport, I put this on underneath my moisturizer. I use it in my lube. I use it in my body lotion. I use it in everything. And it is amazing how much it cures everything. So I highly recommend it. The product that I'm holding up is a Denver CBD. I happen to know that this product is organic. That's the other thing that you've got to be careful of, right? Yeah. If you're using a tincture, something you're putting directly in your body, the last thing you want it to be doing is full of pesticides. And if it doesn't say organic, it probably is not. And the other thing I love about this one is 2,400 milligrams. The other thing we see is you'll see a CBD, which is a single cannabinoid that's taken out of the full spectrum hemp, which actually, if you can get the full spectrum, that's what you really want. But you'll also see it in like 300 milligrams, which is such a low level, it doesn't have that big of a benefit. So if you're going to pay the prices to buy a CBD extract or a hemp extract, make sure that it has a high enough potency so that you're actually feeling the benefits of it. This one is a tincture, so it's a liquid that you put underneath your tongue. And it's different from a capsule, which people tend to gravitate to capsules for supplements. But the benefit of a tincture is that it's not going through your digestive system, right?
Okay, yeah.
Once you put a CBD capsule or a hemp capsule through your digestive system, it's broken down by our gastric acids, and very little of it actually survives that route. But if you can just put it underneath your tongue, it absorbs into our blood system through the veins underneath our tongue, and you get more benefits from it. So that's my soapbox speech, I believe, in hemp extract, and denvercbdco.com is where I get it from, and I highly recommend it.
Do you take that in the morning or once a day?
So I've got to be honest, I'm not a person that takes it on a daily. I do know lots of people that do it. I'm a pretty healthy person, and I don't really have any necessarily health, problems that I'm trying to solve with it. Although for people who don't sleep well, for people who, they're actually finding that it has incredible benefits for autistic kids. And, it's been very slow to be anything like, on that CBD or marijuana or cannabis. They've been very slow to approve it for children, but they've already seen huge results with autistic children. I tend to use it more like, again, when I'm trying to do my immunity boost, or I'm going to be traveling, or I'm feeling like I'm coming down with something, or topically. I use it for everything topically. A little cut, a little minor thing, a little scrape, a little bruise, a little scratch, or rash. So that's how I use it. But I don't know. You, little Missy, I use your product line too, and I see you brought it here. And please tell us about this because this has been awesome.
Oh, I'm so glad that you love it.
Yes.
I identified 6 common ailments that people were coming into the clinic with and created formulas of aromatherapy. So they're kind of little self-care rituals and alternatives to over-relying on over-the-counter medicines like that goes systemically through your body. Mm-hmm. So there's 3 topicals. They're made with love. I hand blend them.
You hand blend them?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's a labor.
Sign me up. These are hand blended by Trish.
My business partner is an acupuncturist, and we have definitely poured our hearts and soul into this project. We tested our formulas over about 18 months in our clinical practice with our clients to get real feedback. So we've created basically, if you've heard of gua sha, which is a Chinese technique to bring surface circulation to the
only reason I'm shaking my head is because you taught me about it, but it is super cool with the use of the stone.
Yeah, so traditionally they used coins or spoons or crystals. But basically it's a technique where you're bringing circulation to the surface and releasing tension. So like, for instance, I have a relief remedy for sore muscles or sore joints, and you apply the oil to the area that you need relief, and you use the stone to increase product absorption, and then also the benefits of bringing circulation to that area to support healing.
So if you were using it on this part of your arm, how would you use that?
Okay, so I will show you.
Or my part of my arm, come to think of it.
So we just give the oil a little shake to mix up the formula.
And it's the shape of the stone, it's very similar to revolving.
Yes. And it comes in all different types of shapes, but I particularly like this shape because you can get into fingers. So if you have arthritis, and it's great for the neck, and then you can also use it for facial gua sha, which helps contouring and lift and all that yummy stuff. So, so you just apply the oil to the area that you need. Oh, and by the way, all my roller balls are crystals. So different crystals for different energies. And I love that.
Isn't that cool?
It smells so good. And then you just take the gua sha and you go in one direction. Actually, you go down because you don't go back and forth. You go in one direction to push the energy and stagnation in one direction.
I love the smell of that. It smells so good.
Yeah, all my topicals have magnesium in it, which is naturally pain relieving. And most of us are magnesium deficient. So you get, you apply enough pressure to get sort of like a pink flush to the skin, which is showing that you're doing it in the right.
Showing that the blood's coming up to the surface.
Exactly. And one of my favorite daily rituals, especially for my chronically constipated clients, but that doesn't happen to everybody, right? But is my gut formula. So
so your gut formula, I have a son that has chronic gut problems, and I gave him your gut formula, and he was singing the praises. He's like, oh my gosh, what is this? It really works.
I love that.
Quick.
Yeah. So, and then it works even great when you're using the stone in a clockwise direction on your abdomen. And then if you feel areas of tension, you breathe into it and then you relax and you can immediately feel the tension dissipate. Yeah. So it's a really nice ritual to do in the morning before you even get out of bed. Just do it while you're laying down.
But some of these are sprays.
Yeah, actually they're inhalers. Yeah.
Inhalers.
So I have a calm inhaler, one for immunity, one for good night. So they become rituals and using your breath to calm the nervous system. I love the calm ritual of slowly engage, you engage the diaphragm, which also slows the nervous system down, especially when your exhale is longer than your inhale and you have this intentional round of breath work. You're instantly relaxing your nervous system and putting yourself into rest, digest, repair mode, which is
parasympathetic.
Yeah, parasympathetic nervous system. So this is a great ritual to do before you enjoy a meal, and you can be conscious about the food that you're about to enjoy is nourishing your mind and body. And then you're taking a time to settle down and be present in that moment. And you're getting more out of the food you're eating. And you're feeling, you're in a receiving mode and a repair mode. So it's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, so they're all...
and I love the packaging. You put it all together in this really cool little package, and it has a card that explains how to do everything. I bought 2 of them, and I gave the other one as a gift. And I swear to gosh, people flip out. What a great gift idea, right? How much is this packet?
It's 117.
117, and you get 3. So it's the calm. This one is I don't have my glasses on, good night. And that one is
immunity.
Immunity. And then you have gut, pain, right?
We have the gut formula, the headache formula. And that feels amazing too with gua sha. So if you have a tension headache, you can run this through your hair. We carry so much tension in our heads. It's amazing. So, and the gut formula, the headache formula, and the relief remedy, which is great for joint pain, muscle tension. It feels heavenly on the neck. I kind of do it when I'm driving. If I'm just stuck in traffic, it feels like really just take the tension away.
And just so everybody knows, we're going to have all of this on the website because we have a web page, and I'll make sure everybody's links and all of the product stuff is on the web page so that everybody can find that. In order to wrap up, I want to wrap up with the big questions. You know, you guys, I love to dive deep and see what makes people tick. And my favorite big question is, tell me something that you used to believe but you don't anymore. So let me start with you, Trish, unless you need another minute to think about it.
Well, I used to believe salt was a villain, and it makes you puffy, and it makes food taste better, or some things taste better. It brings out flavors, but the right quality salt, I think, is what is the missing link in this conversation. And when you have the right quality salt, you're supporting your bone density, your digestive health, every electrical thing, thing that your cells do, and it's requires salt. And
I'm hearing about Himalayan salt and how it's so good for you. Is that Himalayan salt?
This is a solution called Soleil. When you take quality Himalayan salt and you add just filtered clean water and you let it sit for 24 hours, it's at saturation. And so from there, it's as simple as adding a teaspoon into an 8-ounce glass of water your first thing in the morning.
So you're saying I open that, I get a teaspoon of that water out, and I put it into a glass full of water.
Correct.
And I drink it.
That's it.
Wow.
That's simple. Yep. And so that supports bone density and digestion.
So now why is that better than me just using Himalayan salt as my food supplement or to season my food?
Because that needs to be broken down in your digestive system as well. And this is completely saturated, and you're getting it. And it increases hydration, and you're absorbing it quicker. So, yeah.
Okay.
It's already broken down for you. I mean, not broken down, but it's ready to be absorbed immediately by the body. So, yeah.
Okay. So salt's not our enemy if you're getting the right salt.
Correct. And Celtic
84
salt.
minerals or something.
Yeah, 84 trace minerals. Yeah. And Celtic salt is another great quality salt too.
The Celtic,
Celtic salt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they say that because it's from the sea, it's higher in the enzymes. So they're saying about 90.
Okay.
Great. So it's just like they say so much water's in the body. You hear 50% all the way up to 80% that we're water. So, yeah. So when you think about how much water is in us, you really do want to be mindful of the positive thoughts, because that's really, it's impressionable. So since we're mainly water, like positive thoughts are super important.
That's so true. Rhonda, what's something you used to believe but you don't anymore? You can't use eggs. I already know that.
No, I would have to say that goes back to like a lot of the food things that I was doing that were not helping me at all. Collagen powder.
Collagen's not supposed to be good?
No, there's never any. I know I was a big on collagen. It's not good for your, it feeds bad bacteria, and it's not good for your good bacteria. And it doesn't do one thing for your collagen in your skin. It's not helping. So, and there's never been any proof of it. I mean, you can search and there's never any proof of it.
I know, I take it to make my hair grow thick, and my hair's still thin, so I guess that proves it.
One of the worst things for hair or thinning hair or whatever is actually caffeine, but nobody wants to buy it, or nobody wants to stop their caffeine. But I would say a lot of things around food, high fat. Even if it's good fat, if it's avocados all day long or whatever, high fat thickens the blood. And especially like times of COVID, it's very, the thicker your blood is, the harder it is for the oxygen and in your bloodstream. And detoxing. You can't really detox if your blood is really thick. So I think the keto diet, I think there is a need for it certain times maybe in your life. And I don't think it's something sustainable that you could just like, I'm just keto all the time or whatever. It's like, you know, you really need your fruits and vegetables. Oh, one of the biggest ones, fruit. Fruit was I didn't have fruit for 4 years thinking that it was too much sugar and that, you know, it's feeding bad bacteria and whatever. When I was trying to heal my stomach, I basically came off fruit, all sugars, everything. And now it's like, there's no amount of fruit or fruit sugar that will make me afraid anymore. Whatever, I can eat fruit all day long, and it's not because of the way it's attached to
The fiber.
and polyphenols.
And I never bought into
anthocyanins, all
that
these
because
different
I
things
always
that-
believed that what God made is what we're supposed to eat.
And that's why when
Right?
I
Whole
started following this,
foods.
I read this, I was like, this makes more sense. Why would God put food on here that's like, it's, you know, for us to eat and natural things, and like, this is too much sugar, and you know, now we're telling our kids, well, don't eat too much fruit, you know, or whatever. Like, no, doctors are telling them
That's
that now.
insane. I know.
No, it is, but that's what the doctors are telling people. Don't eat too much fruit or whatever. It can't be the fruit. It's, you know, eat something else. Eat more chicken. Eat more, you know.
I heard one time, take bananas out of your diet because they just are too full of sugar and there's no nutritional benefit.
One of the best foods. It's like, and before that, I used to have a banana every single now I could eat 3 bananas a day and it's just not going to bother me. It's like I don't worry about that at all. So
But
I
you
have
don't
to say
eat 3
fruit.
bananas.
No, but I would just say fruit would be the
Yay. Okay, well we got fruit back.
Yay.
Kathryn, do you have one? Something you used to believe but you don't anymore?
The sun.
Oh.
Yeah. The way they have made everybody stay indoors, I think it's done. It's not good for us.
Isn't it the whole everything in moderation, and it's the same with the sun?
Well, yeah, and absolutely. Like, you know, if you're super pale, 10, 15 minutes, that's your max at noon. But we need to be out in that native environment. They don't know what all we are receiving from the sun. They know that there's vitamin D and it's a steroid, but they don't know what else. And so I feel like, well, what they don't know, I want. So get my 10, 15 minutes, go for that walk. The sun.
It just makes us feel so good.
Right? The endorphin hit.
Glasses are
They say to get early morning light, too.
Right. Well, and that resets the circadian rhythm. So that's super important, that early morning. But we really need to be out in nature, bottom line. Like, we were built that way.
Yeah.
You know, our skin is solar panels.
Yes.
People don't realize that.
And think about how good we feel when we're in the sun. And
Well, and when we were kids, we were told to go outside and play. And our kids now, they don't go outside and play. Everybody's all indoors or on screens
and autoimmune's out the roof.
Yeah.
Why?
Right, exactly.
Everybody's hiding from the sun.
Yeah, and the dirt. We need sun, we need dirt.
We need our vitamin D.
Yeah.
But we need it in a natural form. I mean, I know there's lots of supplements out there, but you can't, like, those are all man-made. That's the reality. The sun, we don't know what all it does, but all I know is I feel really good in it.
Yeah.
So,
ladies, let's end on that note. Thank you so much for coming in the circle. I so appreciate it. You guys all added so much value, and thank you.
yeah, it's much needed.
A little toast for us.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Delphine Circle. If you enjoyed the episode, please check out our last 2. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Delphine. Welcome to my circle.